versus Protoss. First map is going to be Lost Temple, and it is, once again, best of 3.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good. The map is Lost Temple because I think that's a very solid map for these players to begin on, and it's a map, I mean, we've said this time and time again about Metalopolis, it's a map that everyone is comfortable on. No one should be uncomfortable on this map, or at least not experienced on this map. So towards the end of the tournament, it's absolutely perfect that it is going to start on this map. We should see some high-level play. I mean, we're going to see high-level play no matter what map they're playing on. They could be playing fastest possible map, and it does look like they have paused the game, so I'm not sure what the issue is going to be right here. So they're going to get that one figured out. But anyways, back to the fact that they are playing on Lost Temple, I think that it will increase the level of play here. And
I think we're going to have a restart here as the players, I guess, must have had some technical difficulties. Every game always has its own little bugs, and, you know, going to have to restart. No big deal.
Yep, so we will go ahead and remake that game right now. It will be once again on Lost Temple, and then once we get us invited and go ahead and get that underway. Now, I think that it's really important to mention that HuK came into this very, very confident that he was going to get to the finals, and he could definitely prove that today. As, I mean, regardless of what happens in this game, he's going to be top 4, and so as long as he can keep playing the game he knows, he should be able to beat Kiwikaka, but Kiwikaka has been playing professional games. I think he's even a professional poker player is what my little notes here were saying, so hopefully that is correct, as there is a lot of overlap actually with poker and StarCraft, as they are both, you know, mental games. And yeah, there we go. We finally got everyone back into the game. Okay, and so, yeah, there was just a small minor difficulty there, so we're going to go ahead and get it going underway right now. And so we do have both players in the game, and
we're about to start in just a few moments. Interesting random fact. You guys might think this is a Protoss versus Protoss, but we surveyed some of the players that played today, asked them what is their best race, what is their preferred race, and of course Kiwikaka said Protoss, but HuK said his best race is HuK.
Yeah, we do have a little thing that we had the players fill out, and he just wrote, yeah, HuK is my favorite race, and then also, let's see what it says here. This just shows you what HuK's personality is, and it says random fact, and he just says sup.
All right, so the game is about to start. Lost Temple, this is going to be version 2. Hopefully no disconnects or any kind of issues here, as HuK is going to be spawning as the blue Protoss. Once again, HuK blue Protoss at the 12 o'clock position. And on the other side, at the 9 o'clock, is going to be Kiwikaka spawning as the red Protoss.
I do want to mention that both players in game number 1, they spawned in the same position from each other. It was just on the opposite side of the map. So we aren't going to really see that much of a different game than we would have seen if that first game continued. So it's always kind of good, I think, to have players spawn in the exact same locations. Some players are more confident in certain spawn spots on certain maps because, like we've mentioned in previous games, your spawn location can really dictate the flow of the game, and you have to have a couple of build orders prepared for every matchup on every map. And so that can play actually a huge role as the players, if they don't have something prepared for that specific spawn location, it can really end up costing them. So it does look like both players are going to be scouting after the pylon, and their little friends there at the watchtower, so they're going to immediately know where each other is spawning here. And so far, I mean, the openers are identical.
Yeah, now let's talk about Protoss versus Protoss a little bit. I know you're a Protoss player yourself, Husky. A lot of times, in my opinion, PvP boils down to who can get that 4-gate out. 4-gate, of course, very effective versus Zerg, and of course, very effective versus Protoss as well. So that's one potential opening that we might see either of these players go for. And of course, we all know HuK loves to play his one-base strategies. Expanding in PvP don't really see that very often. So I think we're going to see some kind of early pressure build. Oftentimes, Colossus early on can be very good, and Zealot Phoenix can be another possible alternative as well.
Yeah, the 4-gate is a really crucial build in PvP, although at very, very high levels, you just have to know how to hold it off. You got to get your force fields right on the ramp. You got to make sure that you aren't, looking away from the ramp. It's very, very crucial. What you'll see a lot of times is one player go a 4-gate and someone goes some sort of other build, either getting Immortals out, rushing to Colossus or Phoenix, like you said, HD, and it's basically how well can you hold that off, or both players could simply tech up to those higher tier units here. So the 4-gate really, though, it puts a lot of pressure on every player in a PvP, because if you are not prepared for that, do note actually that Kiwikaka stole the gas on the top right side. Same thing actually just happened. I think HuK Reactionary did that. One thing that is really, that I actually prefer to do in Protoss vs. Protoss, so maybe someone out there who's a good player actually does it as well, is you copy your opponent's build exactly until you destroy that scouting probe, and then that's when you try and trick them and change your tech. So we could see HuK doing that reactionary play right now, and there is a Cybernetics core on the way for both players. The timing on that is actually almost identical there, as both players don't want to do anything too risky. There goes the second gateway, though, for Kiwikaka much sooner than HuK's.
Yeah, at first I saw HuK kind of saving up his energy for Chrono Boost. I thought he was going to start boosting out some Zealots, but it seems like now he's using it on his Nexus, or at least he was. And yeah, he's continuing to Chrono Boost his Nexus. Maybe a little bit of a lack of play there, forgetting to use that Chrono Boost early on might hurt him a little bit on that Harvester count. And it looks like, no, he's actually up by just one probe over Kiwikaka right now, and HuK is starting to pound away on that red assimilator. Keep in mind again, Kiwikaka is the red Protoss, HuK is the blue Protoss.
HuK has not started his warp gates yet as he is chrono boosting out that stalker to deal with that scouting probe. And in Protoss versus Protoss, you almost always want to get that first Zealot out anyways, but you can...
robotics facility inside HuK's base, so he is building a robotics at the top.
Yep, he is going to do that, and that means he should be getting his second gateway here fairly soon. Of course, that means that Kiwikaka's tech is going to be a little bit delayed, simply because, I mean, he's going to get out his 2 gateways right away, which is definitely more safe in the early game. You just got to make sure you don't get out-teched too hardcore, because if there's a couple Colossus, even if they have a 1 Colossus advantage on your army in the mid and late game, that can definitely make a huge difference. So HuK is going a very standard build, and he has not thrown down that second gateway yet. Usually you will see the second gateway going down right about now, as HuK was finally able to secure that gas, and there goes that second gateway.
Kiwikaka looks like he is going to be playing 4-gate. He has just thrown down 2 more gateways. The assimilator does not see the 3rd and 4th gateway, just placed outside the range of HuK's assimilator. And the assimilator is going to fall to this probe and allow Kiwikaka to finally reclaim that gas. And he's going to start to open with some early pressure from these 4 gateways. His warp gate, though, is not quite done yet. He is saving those chrono boosts right now, but he's not using it on the warp gate technology. So it's going to be about another 15 to 20 seconds until it's done. But HuK, critically enough, has gone for a fast robotics facility. His game plan here is going to be Colossus. He cancels the robotics support bay, though, so he is not going to be able to get those Colossus out in time. He realizes that as the forces of Kiwikaka are starting to push forward on that ramp, but HuK has enough Zealots, I think, to hold this off. If he can micro that Stalker in the top and not lose any units, then he should be just fine. But very, very close, intense moment in the game right now for both players. Kiwikaka looking to set up that proximity pylon to warp in more units from his 4 warp gates.
Like I was saying earlier, HD, it's all about how you react to the 4-gate. He realized, oh, there's a bunch of Stalkers. I need to cancel that, get an Immortal out ASAP. That Immortal is done. It's going to come to if he can get the Immortal at the top of the ramp in time. I don't know if he can. Yes, though, he actually did push Kiwikaka out of there. So now this is a very sticky situation that Kiwikaki's found himself in, because that Immortal is going to stay in the back. And if HuK can get out either a force field or a couple more Zealots to protect it, he should be okay. And it looks like Zealots are warping in on the high ground. So 4 Zealots are just now complete. So Kiwikaka, he knows what's up. That proxy pylon was placed perfectly. So he is now pushing inside the main base and trying to focus down that 1 pylon powering that gateway. And that Immortal is going to have his work cut out for him.
This is absolutely devastating for HuK right now. 5 Stalkers and 4 Zealots inside his main. He's desperately trying to get the second robotics, or the second Immortal out. The second Immortal does come out of the robotics facility, and Immortals are fairly good against the Stalkers, but he cannot allow the Zealots to start pounding on them. That's why he has pulled probes off the line to fend off the Zealots. Looks like he is going to surround this last Zealot and prevent it from retreating back, but 5 more Zealots warping in from the 4 warp gates. 4 Zealots, excuse me, and it looks like probes all falling to these Zealots as the Stalkers are trying to run away and pull the attention away from HuK's forces, and a lot of probes went down there, ladies and gentlemen. 16 Harvesters, under 28 for HuK. HuK is reeling right now. He's confused. He doesn't know what to do, and there are still 3 Stalkers for Kiwikaka inside his main. The Immortal is just slaying them, though. But the question is, has the damage been done? 4 more Zealots coming in from that proximity pylon.
That was a fantastic attack there from Kiwikaka. I'm not sure why HuK had his gateways powered just by a single pylon, but now he does only have the 1 pylon. At the income tab, it was only 80 to about 800 during that attack. That is why Kiwikaka was able to macro up a bunch of more Stalkers. The Zealots are getting stuck a little bit, but I think that HuK is backed into a corner. He cannot escape, and he's trying to warp in more reinforcements. I don't think it is going to be enough, though, as there are more units killing probes inside HuK's main. And right now, Kiwikaka, yeah, he's doing a little bit of micro back and forth, but that's just to buy more time so he can get more and more units. And you got to remember that HuK is only having 1 robotics facility. He cannot even afford to continue producing out of it. So I really do not see what HuK can do right now. He's desperately trying to make more Zealots, but they're just going to get kited by these Stalkers.
One nice force field right there for HuK to prevent the Stalkers from coming in behind the mineral line, but it looks like all that HuK's got left is this final last Immortal and 1 Stalker. He's forced to use probes once again if he wants to stay in this game, but his Harvester count, 17 under 31. HuK forced to GG out. Kiwikaka taking a very quick game.